Hello everyone, and welcome to the next Kaia Stablecoin Summer Hackathon Workshop. This is our very first Kaia-centric hackathon workshop. With me today, I have Aiden, our DevRel lead, Ayo, our DevRel engineer, and Banana B, a senior blockchain engineer. He's not actually from the DevRel team, but he is helping us out today. So so for those of you who are not familiar with me, my name is Sean. I am the DevRel community manager and have been the host of every single workshop so far. So hopefully you guys aren't sick of me yet, rather. Yeah. So without further ado, oh my gosh, the dog, so cute. Anyways, yes. So without further ado, I don't want to take up too much of everyone's time. I will hand the time off to Aiden, who will be presenting first on the hackathon overview as well as the Kaia 101. So I will just take it away, Aiden. Yes.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Sean. Yeah. Can you see my screen? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, I think it's okay. Yeah. So yeah, so nice to meet you guys. I'm Aiden Park and I'm the lead. So today I'm gonna talk about two topics which are first I'm gonna work you through you guys I'll work through you guys about the hackathon logistics. I mean the hackathon overview and the some pro tips for the hackathon participants. And also the second part would be the Kaia 101. So I'll briefly introduce our technical architecture and the our unique features and our vision to you guys. Yeah, so first of all, this is our panel. I'm pretty sure you guys are already familiar with this. So yeah, please, scan. You can scan this QR code if you want to join this hackathon. First of all, this hackathon is the first and largest flagship hackathon in Kaia. For this year. So we are trying to onboard the new promising DeFi mini-dapps with Kaia native USDT. So we are actually planning a bunch of support programs for the winners and also other promising teams who joined this hackathon. So this actually is the right place if you are interested in building on Kaia. So it's not about just weekend hacks. This is the really good stage to ship real products. And if you are if you are if you are founders who owns the products who are preparing product launch seriously. Yeah, so the objective of this hackathon, Kaia Wave Stable Summer Hackathon, is actually discovering promising stablecoin powered DeFi mini dApps, as I mentioned earlier, and we are trying to onboard new builders and new projects, and we want to make those projects to go live launch directly after this hackathon, and we will support these products with our flagship support program, which is Kaia Wave Season 2. Yeah, this is the key information about Kaia Wave Stablecoin Hackathon. So we already kicked off this hackathon at WebEx last month, August 25th. And we will have final demo day on September 3 in Singapore in person. And the total price pool is the direct price pool is about 165K in USD, and we have more than 1 million investments pool supported by Cicada. And as you already know, we only have one track, single track, and the prizes will be distributed to 3 teams. Yeah, and the deadline for final submission is September 17th, next Wednesday. Yeah, this is the list of our hackathon partners, like cost sponsors, community partners. And yeah, we have Linux and Tether as cost, and we have sponsors like SCADA and Dune, and Certic Hacken and Anchor. Yeah. So regarding this hackathon, we are actually trying to find some early stage founder teams like in pre-seed or seed, early seed range. So we are expecting actually not just slide deck or not just the idea. We expect we expect from you guys like actual MVP or like prototype, or it would be ideal if you have active and private beta in progress. But you can still submit apply for this hackathon and submit your projects even if you don't have sophisticated products. And the most important thing is, it'll be DeFi impact potential. So if you are building good DeFi products like that can, attract more USDT TVL or other or DeFi transaction volumes, then we are more than welcome. Yeah, we have only single track, only one track, DeFi Mini-Dapp track. If you are building DeFi products and it could be onboarded as a Mini-Dapps, then everything is okay. Yeah, everything is fine. So it could be earn product or yield aggregator or DAX or staking, or it could be lending or whatever. We are always welcoming all the DeFi products. Yeah, this is the price pool price distribution to each finalist, including winners. The winner will take more than 35 K in USD. We will by the way, we will give all the prizes in USDT. Yeah, this is the timeline. So as I mentioned earlier, the submission due is next Wednesday. So please be prepared, and don't forget to submit your project on your deadline. And we will announce the finalists September 24th, and we will have final demo day on September 30 in Singapore, Tokyo. Yeah, as I actually should mentioned, we are already having ecosystem like demo sessions and the tech workshops with our partners like Dune, Certic, and tomorrow will be we also had Vision AI regarding the workshops, and we will open the tech support office hours. I mean the one-on-one clinic sessions soon. So yeah, stay tuned, and we will open slots for you guys. And we are preparing. We also prepared the post hackathon programs. So after having the final demo day in Singapore in person, we will provide the post hackathon incentives like including grants and liquidity support for you for the promising teams like winners and other finalists. Specifically, we will onboard you guys to the directly to Kaia Wave Season 2 program. Yeah, this is the brief introduction about the to the Kaia Web Stepping Consumer Hackathon. So I'm pretty sure you guys already joined this this hackathon, but I mean, please, if you are if you didn't join this hackathon yet, please scan this QR code, or you can directly uh, uh, go to the Thorax page to join this hackathon. Yeah. Yeah, this that was the brief introduction about the Kaia Web Step Consumer Hackathon. So now we let's move on to the Kaia 101. So our I think you might already familiar with Kaia ecosystem, but if you're not, this would be good opportunity to learn about learn about Kaia. So Kaia is Kaia started last year by merge between Clayton and Finchia. Clayton is the one of the leading blockchains layer one blockchain projects initiated by Kakao, and the Finchia is was the also layer one project layer one blockchain projects initiated by Line team. Yeah, so we by merging Clayton and Finchia, we created new layer one blockchain, which is Kaia. Yeah, so let's dive into the Kaia architectures and technical advantages. So first of all, so let's go through the network topology. So for Kaia, we have three kinds of node. So we have consensus node, proxy node, and endpoint node. So consensus node is you can think of the validator simply. So these nodes participating in the consensus and the validating the blocks. And the proxy node is just really proxy to connect consensus node to endpoint node. So this kind of proxy nodes can make the communication between the nodes more efficiently. And the endpoint nodes are the ordinary nodes that we know. This, if you call the RPC cores, then you will interact with these endpoint nodes. And we also have a kind of service chain, which is kind of layer two solution. So you can build a service chain if you want to build on top of Kaia, but if you want to independent, consensus or network, yeah. So here are key things about the Kaia architecture. So we are using the IBFT, which is Istanbul BFT, POS consensus mechanism. IBFT is just kind of PBFT, which is more well known as it's not the same thing, but it's well known as Comet BFT, which is Tendermint previously. Yeah, and we have three node model, as I mentioned earlier, and we have extended account model. So we have different kinds of account models natively. So we can support multiple key pairs, and also we can support the account recovery natively, and also we have multi-format transaction model. So we support the fee delegation natively. even without the account abstraction solution like ERC-4007 or 770. Yeah, and we are also using the dynamic Gatsby model like EIP 1559, and yeah. So actually, the Kaia mainnet previously Clayton's and Cypress started as a fork. I mean, we are using the GAP client fork of Ethereum in 2018, and we are still on. I mean, we are still we still keep contributing to the same foundation and the for the Ethereum, but we have built our own UX improvements for better use cases for Kaia ecosystem. For example, multi-key account model and on-chain multi-sig account control and gas abstraction and field delegation and etc. Yeah, so the Kaia blockchain is as you know is fully EVM compatible. Actually, we are trying to be in EVM equivalence, EVM equivalent. But anyway, we can support any EVM dApp tools like Logics and EIPs. And we are fast and reliable. We can provide more than 4,000 TPS and 1 sub-second finality. And we recently we added this feature called gas abstraction. So users can now pay with any tokens. I mean, like stable coins or maybe Mini-Dapp tokens. Without the native gas token, which is Kaia. Yeah, and also Kaia is an open source product, so you can see the source code in our GitHub, and also you can you can also contribute to this code base if you want. And we are running the dev forum and KIP's website, so you can always suggest some improvements, or you can leave any comments, or you can raise any issues. Yeah, let's more dive into the Kaia consensus. So it's a bit while ago, but anyway, at that time, a few years ago, the most of the POW and POS algorithm has flaws, like inconsistent block time and chain fork and reorg. The finality is not fully supported. So Kaia decided to use the PBFT, which is specifically IBFT consensus mechanism. You can actually think of this as tendermint of Comet BFT if you are confused. Yeah. But anyway, we can support fast block generation time, and we can support the instant finality. Yes, this is the a bit of details regarding our IBFT consensus. So I won't go to the too much details here, but let's just skim through the how it works. So if you are familiar with the PBAFT algorithm, you may easily understand how it works here. So basically, the proposal in the pre-prepare phase, so the proposer creates a block and the broadcast to the committee members. And the next phase is prepare phase. So each committee member get blocks from proposer and validates, and the submit broadcast the bot message with their signature. And the next phase is the commit phase. So and each committee member collects the if they collect the 2f plus 1 pre-pair messages. Here the f means the number of 40 nodes, by the way, and then they can broadcast the signed commit message to the committee member. So like just like PBFT, we use the second round. We bought second times. First for prepare and the second for commit. So and then if you get the more than 2f plus 1 message commit message, then it assumed to be finalized. So this is basically how it works, and this is how the IBFT works. So let me skip this. So IBFT in IBFT, just like VBFT, if the 40 nodes are smaller than 1/3, then the system is guaranteed to be safe. But the time complexity of the messages is n squared, which here n means the number of nodes. I mean the validated nodes. And the good thing, the good point of this algorithm is the finality is guaranteed immediately. Yeah, that because this is the why we can support the instant finality. Yeah. And the next topic is EVM compatibility. So actually, a few years ago, Clayton, at the time, we tried to be, Ethereum compatible blockchain, but it's actually it's not enough to be just EVM compatible, because we cannot support the fully support the dApp tools or other EIPs, and maybe the existing Ethereum developers might be easily confused and get lost on our ecosystem. So we decided to be EVM equivalent instead of EVM compatible. So we keep trying to be EVM equivalent chain with the full support for EVM features. So every EVM feature available on our Kaia protocol, and almost every Ethereum developers are usable can be used in our Kaia ecosystem. And also, we both support Ethereum formatted and Kaia formatted transactions. Yeah, that's why we can use you can use the existing development tools on Kaia when you build some kind of dApps in Kaia. This is actually the same thing. So we actually support the Ethereum API format too. So we support the Ethereum namespace. So you can still use this ETH prefix when you call the JSON RPC. Yeah, so by this EVM equivalence, so we can support the many things like development tools, and also we can support the existing Ethereum transaction types and JSON RPC. The ETH namespace. Yeah. So we will keep trying to support this EVM equivalence in the future too. Yeah. So I think let me skip this. I think it's almost same thing that I mentioned. Yeah. So let's move on to the Kaia's unique account and transaction models. So actually, our account model and transaction model is somewhat different from the Ethereum's one. So actually, our private key of the account is changeable. So you can change the private key, and the you can also use the multiple private keys if you want. It's just like multi-sig. And also we can support the lower base keys. So of course we also support the legacy, I mean the existing EOA model, just like Ethereum. And we have multiple transaction types, and also like what I mentioned earlier, we support the field delegation transaction model too. Yeah, so in the Picker blockchain, the address is hash of public key, but in Kaia, we it's not. So, but the but as I mentioned earlier, Lenny, you can use the existing account model if you want. Anyway, and this actually by this we can enhance, we can improve a lot of security factors, like you can change the private key. You can basically you can recover your private key if you want, and you can use the multisig and lower based key, etc. And so basically, if you for example, low based key use cases, you can use the account update key if you want to securely manage your account compared to the traditional account key model. And for sure, you can use the multi-sig if you want to further security. And the if for example, you can use the this kind of B-failure key. So you can only set the this account can be used by the service operator for the fee delegation to pay the transaction fee. Yeah, so there will be no permission to send money with this key. Yeah, you can try these bunch of different types of the account generation in this website if you want. And yeah, the next thing is Kaia transaction model. So we support all the Ethereum I mean the transaction types of existing Ethereum, but we also support the account update, like just like key update, and the you can also we also support the fee delegation transaction model. So let's dive into the fee delegation and gas abstraction more. So, in Kaya, you can make the anyone to pay anyone you can make anyone pay gas fees on the other user's behalf. So you can simply set the fee payer in your transaction, and then if the fee payer signs that transaction, that means these gas fees of this transaction will be paid by this fee payer. So, for example, this deployer initiates the contract deployment transaction from you, and then requests the fee payer to sign it, and then from backend, fee payer get the transaction from this deployer, and then sign with their private keys, and then they execute the transaction, and then this fee payer will pay for the gas on behalf of deployer. Yeah, the next one is this one is the more recent features. I mean, this is very exciting features. So this is the basically allow users to pay gas fees with other tokens like stablecoins or Dapp tokens. So if you have USDT or other Dapp tokens like Bora, and you don't have Kaia, but you can with this gas abstraction feature, you can send transactions with those tokens. Yeah, so we integrate this gas abstraction feature natively, so you don't need to worry about the other infrastructure or additional tools to use this. Yeah, for example, if users with USDT, but if users have USDT but doesn't have the Kaia native token, then in this case, this user can use the gas abstraction. So when the user try to send the transaction, wallet pops up, and it will notify that user that he will need swap because of in gas abstraction under the hood, the other tokens like USDT should be swapped to the native token, which is Kaia. So anyway, user should approve this token and swaps to Kaia by gas list transaction, and user performs the and sends the actual TX. So even if the user doesn't have the Kaia, uh, only has USDT, he or she can send the transaction without Kaia. So the important thing here is all the transactions like swap, approve and swap, or the actual transaction are bundled together. So it works like just one transaction. Yeah, so let's talk more about the Kaia ecosystem now. It's very obvious the world is going to mobile first, and the Web3. The Web3 ecosystem is stuck in the desktop era, but the Kaia is trying to make our ecosystem to mobile first at scale. So we actually have already natively integrated with these mobile messengers. Popular mobile messengers in Asian market like Line Messenger and Kakao, and we already have more than 250 million users. And yes, we have already integrated in the Kakao and Line Messenger. So yeah, that's how we can go to mobile first, our mobile first strategy. And the most of the Web3 dApps or chains are struggling with getting users, real users, but Kaia chain already owns them and have access to them because we already have our users on our messengers like Line and Kakao, and our user base. Represents the Asian market like Japan, Korea, Taiwan, and the Thailand. And our mission is very, very clear. So we will scale our build the ecosystem to from Web 2 and Web 3. We will onboard these Web 2 users to Web 3 ecosystem by providing great UX and the great opportunity or very good quality depths like just like we are trying to build on our hackathons. Yeah, so we are Kaia is actually natively integrated in Line Messenger. So all the Line Mini-Dapps and the or uh, blockchain related features are natively with us, Kaia chain. So if you are interested in building online messenger, then Kaia chain must be the best choice for you. Yeah. So now we are trying to build our ecosystem based on three pillars: games, finance, and content. So recently, we are more focusing on this stablecoin narrative, and we are trying to build a DeFi ecosystem representing this stablecoin. So that's why we are hosting this hackathon, Kaia Web Stablecoin Summer Hackathon. Yeah, this is the Mini-Dapp and Dapp holder. I'm pretty sure you guys already familiar with this. So let's skip this. And we already, more than 10,000 projects applied for our program, and we already successfully launched. A lot of teams successfully launched their projects. Now we are trying to apply this success story to the DeFi ecosystem projects. Yeah, let me skip this. And the we already onboarded our native USDT on our ecosystem, and we are trying to build based on this native USDT based on this native USDT, we are trying to build our DeFi ecosystem. Yeah, I think let me skip this. Yeah. Yeah, so we are, Kaia is, the number one blockchain in the Asian market, and we are targeting the true mass adoption through this Line Messenger and Kakao, and we already have millions of users, and we have EVM developer first already. So yeah, that's actually why you need to care about our ecosystem, and if you are interested in the building on Kaia ecosystem, then this hackathon, Kaia Wave Stablecoin Summer Hackathon, will be the right place, right event for you. Yeah. Thank you, and I think there should be some questions, I guess.
Hello everyone, I am back. Yes, because I think Aiden is unfortunately pressed for time, he has to go off to another event. So we're gonna have a very quick Q&A with Aiden right now, before we move on to the rest of the presentations. So I think we do have a couple questions from chat. Let me try to find it and put it on screen. Yes, this is the first question. I'm not sure if you can see this, but with IBFT finality, what are the typical block time and confirmation guidelines you suggest for UX? Example showing success to users.
Yeah, typical block time is, as I mentioned earlier, is about 1 second. And the confirmation guidelines means maybe the confirmation time, I guess. So so the block time is 1 second, and because the block is confirmed, finalized right after this right away. So yeah, I think I'm not sure if this answers correctly.
I
Yeah.
think I don't know, because the thing is the stream is ever so slightly delayed, so you might have to circle back a bit. So there's another question from the same user. I think this person is quite active in the streams.
Yep.
How EVM equivalent is Kai in practice? Do you support EIP 2718 type transactions, EIP 1559 fee market, and access list EIP 2930?
Yeah, actually, we have some differences regarding, like, for example, like EIP 1559, we don't have, burn logic, just like Ethereum. We don't burn our Kaia. And there are some minor, differences, but we try to mimic, I mean, uh, uh, duplicate the Ethereum EIPs as much as possible. Yeah, but there are some, minor differences. Yeah.
Okay, cool. I think there is a follow-up from the previous question. I can just any notable precompile or opcode differences we should watch for when porting. This is the previous question, I think.
Oh yeah. So I mean, you don't need to worry about the opcode differences actually, but the precompiled contracts, like in Ethereum, we all support these kind of precompiled constructs, and but we there are some our own precompiled constructs, like for field allocation or our own native features. But as a developer, as a developer, actually you don't need to worry about the at this level. I mean, the opcodes or pre-compile level. Yeah.
I think we have one last question before we have to send Eden off. Right. So
Yeah.
this is regarding the submissions. Should they submit a builder on DoraHacks first, then update it later, or only submit when it's ready to ship?
So you can actually submit first, and then you can always, update it later. But yeah, actually, it's up to you. If you want to get more feedback from us, then you can submit first, and then we will open the slot for our the technical office hours soon, right, Sean? So and then you can, discuss with us based on your submission. Yeah, then that would be helpful to you. Yeah.
Okay, great. I think that's all the time we have for Eden. Right. So I'd like to thank Eden for coming on board today and giving the wonderful hackathon overview as well as Kaia 101. So if any further questions, I think he is tagged in the previous post for this one. So if you want to tag him directly on X to go and ask him all your questions, feel free. I'm not sure how quick he will be responding on X. I think he would very much prefer to respond everything on the Discord server. So yeah, other than that, I think we can temporarily say goodbye to Aiden for now, and we'll
Yeah.
move on to AO next. All right. So
Yeah.
thanks,
Thank you,
Aiden.
Sean.
Yeah,
Yeah. Thank you,
you sorry.
Sean. Yeah.
Before you leave, any parting words for the hackathon participants?
Oh yeah, so feel free to reach out to me, in Discord, or you can send DM through Dorax if you want. So feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions. Yeah. Thank you for your interest, and I mean, this hackathon will be a really good opportunity for you guys if you are interested in our ecosystem. Yeah. Thank you.
All right, great, fantastic. Okay, bye, Eden. See you in a bit. All right, take care. Okay, so now we're moving on to Ayo, who is our DevRel engineer at Kaia. He will be going through the Line Mini-Dapp SDK, I believe, and he'll be giving you just a quick demo, everything overview. So I will just hand it off to him, and I'll add his screen to the thing. Yeah, so give me 1 second. Do you want to try resharing this, Ayo? Sorry. Ah, there we go. Got it. You are muted, by the way, just to keep in mind. You.
All right. Can everybody hear me now? Can you hear me, Sean?
Yes, we can.
Yeah, just to confirm, Sean, can you hear me?
Yes. Ayo, we can hear you. Please proceed. Thank you.
All right. Awesome. All right. Hello, everyone. Kaia. My name is Peter Ayo, and I currently work as a DevRel engineer at Kaia DLT Foundation. So today, we're going to be looking at line Mini-Dapp from 0 to 1, right? And as a result of that, by the end of this session, you'd understand what Mini-Dapps are for the sake of those who don't know what Mini-Dapps are. And also, we're going to take a look at the various environments at which Mini-Dapps are built, either as a Leaf version or as a web version. Other than that, we'll also take a look at Mini-Dapp SDK, which would be used to build both the Leaf version and also the web version. And we'll go over a simple Mini-Dapp example that has been built, right? It's a simple Mini-Dapp that basically walks us through evolution of an NFT by making TUSDT investment in this case. And so without further ado, let's get started, right? So for the sake of those who don't know what Mini-Dapps are, right? Mini-Dapps powered by Kaia blockchain refers to lightweight Web3 application that runs directly inside already familiar social network applications such as Line Messenger with Mini-Dapp SDK. Now, what this means is that Web2 users who aren't familiar with Web3 services can now access Web3 services within Line without having to, download any separate application or without having to move out of their already familiar social network application. In this case, Line Messenger. And so this is the concept of Mini-Dapps, right? And so with Mini-Dapps, right, on Kaia or Mini-Dapps powered by Kaia blockchain, it leverages Line user pool to provide, diverse experience and rewards to about 200 million global users. Now, with Mini-Dapps also, users can get access to DeFi application, hyper casual games, or even Diff AI applications that have a mixture of both DeFi and AI agents running in them, right? And so the major concept of Mini-Dapps is that you are able to build lightweight application, Web3 application that directly runs within Line using the Mini-Dapp SDK and also powered by Kaia blockchain, right? Having said that, why should we build Mini-Dapps, right? So this is pretty much important for those who are just hearing the concept of Mini-Dapp for the first time. But for those who have been around for quite a number of time, you know right now that the first part of it is distribution without friction. I mentioned that with Mini-Dapps powered by Kaia, you have access to over 200 million users online. And so this is a great unlock for developers looking for distribution, right? So from day one, you have access to over 200 million users online, right? So one of the major aspects of distribution without friction is that users don't have to leave their already familiar social network sites, in this case Line, and go to download a separate application. Now, everything can be done inside Line, right? Web2 users who don't have access to Web3 platforms can now, access Web3 services on the go without having to leave Line at all. Also, we also have the concept of keyless wallets, meaning that your Line login details is used to generate an instance for like your login on Mini-Dapps. And also, like I mentioned, is built on Line's massive active user base, right? Other than that, also, while you are building Mini-Dapps, especially for the concept of distribution without friction, you have access to Line social features, which basically helps you to like share message with your Line friends and also have Leaf integration, which basically boosts user acquisition and retention. So take, for instance, you are playing an hyper casual game in your line messenger, and you find it really, really cool, and then you share with other friends of yours, and then that friend of yours share to other friend because it's a really cool game. And so with this, developers or like founders who are building Mini-Dapps can easily get user acquisition and also retention. So that's like why we need to build Mini-Dapps. First is like distribution without friction, right? You have access to over 200 million users on the go from day one. The other part is founder speed and success. Now, so the tagline is build mini, scale big, right? Now, to put it simply, it means that you can build lightweight application because this is the concept of like mini dapps. And with this, you can quickly iterate on your product idea and give it to users of over 200 million, and you can always quickly get feedbacks and at the end of the day reach product market fit faster, right? Also, you focus more on features, right? And you are just building what the user wants from you, what works for the users, and there are no distribution hurdles. At the end of the day, mini dapps are about meeting users where they already are. Now, this is the concept of building mini dapps. And so because we have distribution without friction, we have founder speed and success, all of this all combined together helps reduce the friction for both developers and users. And then it accelerates mass adoption for normies or for Web2 users. So this is why we need to build or why mini dapps, on Kaia using Line Messenger, right? Moving on. So let's take a look at an end-to-end flow for a mini dapp, especially online, powered by Kaia. The first is that you can easily, connect your wallet, right? You can get connected to the mini dapp, right? After you have been connected, either using your line login details, or in the case for a web version, you are using an external wallet, either Kaia wallet or OKS wallet or BitGet wallet. Once you're connected, then you move to the next stage, which is the play stage, right? The play stage is the stage where you get to interact with the mini dapps, test out whether it be games, whether it be DeFi platforms, whether it be Diff AI platforms, you get to play. And the next part is the rewards part, right? Where depending on the functionality of the application, you get to earn tokens, points, rewards from within Line Messenger, right? So this is a great unlock for a lot of users where they get to be connected to their favorite games or their favorite application, accessing Web3 services. They get to play, which is interacting with the application, in this case, mini dapps. And the next part is to get rewards. The fourth flow in this process is to share with your friends. Now, in the case where you have been locked in, right, playing this mini dapps, right, you get to also share the mini dapps with your friend, which at the end of the day unlocks, user adoption and retention. We also have Dapp portal provided, which is like a single source of truth for all mini dapps available on Kaia, right? On Kaia online, powered by Kaia. And so with Dapp portal, you'd be able to, in this case, get all of the mini dapps available, and then you can swap tokens, trade tokens, swap, and also buy NFTs from your Dapp portal. So this is an end-to-end flow for how mini dapps exist or how they are in the Kaia ecosystem. Moving on, now I've just talked about the flow. Now let's talk about also the development side of things, because this is what this session is about, Line mini dapp from 0 to 1. Now, when you are building a mini dapp, for as many of us who are participating in this hackathon, to build a mini dapp, right, you need a web application, which is like the client side, right? And two things are important to note here. Your web application can either be a Leaf version or a web version, right? And so for a Leaf version, it means that you are plugging in both Leaf SDK and also Mini-Dapp SDK. So why do we need web or like your Mini-Dapp in two versions? The reason is because first, it is the best practice. The second is because there are users in non-line regions. When I say non-line regions, I mean regions where line is not actively being used. So because line is actively being used in Thailand, Japan, Taiwan, and Indonesia, so these are like line region, and as such, they have access to line. And so for this region, we use the leaf version. Now, for the region where they have no access to line directly, we use the web version, right? In this case, you are able to access the Mini-Dapp globally, whether if you are building your Mini-Dapp online powered by Kaia, you need it to be ready in these two versions, right? Whether the leaf version or the web version. So having said that, let's talk about the two important SDKs that you need to build, whether the web version or the leaf version. The first is the Mini-Dapp SDK, right? So with the Mini-Dapp SDK, this is a curated SDK that has that exposes a developer to wallet providers and payments provider. Now, with your wallet provider, you have access to methods such as connect and disconnect wallets. You have methods such as get Kaia balance, get ERC20 token balance. You also have other methods that basically helps you interact with your wallet interactions, right? We also have payments provider. Now, with payments provider, you get access to create payments channels and also get details of payments. Now, in your Mini-Dapp, with the payments provider, you can initialize or implement a Mini-Dapp store where users can buy in-game assets. In the case if it's an hyper-casual game, they can buy in-game assets, whether in crypto or in fiat currencies. And you can also use like Stripe connected to your card to pay for all of these things. Now, so this is the Mini-Dapp SDK and what it provides us access to. Now, the other part is the Leaf SDK. With the Leaf SDK, we have access to line login, messaging API, and every other information that you need as regards, the line platform itself. So that's that for the development side. The two things that I've said that you need to take note of is that it's best practice that while developing Mini-Dapps, you need to build two versions, the Leaf version and the Mini-Dapps version, or like the web version. And to build the both versions, you need to integrate both the Mini-Dapp SDK and the Leaf SDK. Moving on, I already mentioned this already, which is that Mini-Dapps exist in two major environments, right? Which is the Leaf environment, which is like the Leaf version environment, and also the web version environment, right? Yeah. Just to reiterate, right? The Leaf version environment is for users who have access to Line Messenger, right? In this case, so because Line is actively being used in major regions, like I mentioned in the past, the Leaf version sort of like caters for this user. And for the web version, it's for the global audience and also for Web3 users in this case who are not in the Line regions. So having said that, this is like a screenshot that sort of like shows how the Leaf version sort of like works, especially for those in Line region. You are being verified from like the channel, and after that, you basically load your Mini-Dapp, and then you get to play your Mini-Dapp. One of the major things that you need to note while working with Leaf version is that you need to, in this case, only show them connect to Line from the first part. Now, how do I mean? Now, when a user is trying to connect to your Mini-Dapp, it has to be using Line login, right? And not connect to wallet because they need to be able to access their Line details, right? So this is what we can see in this verification part, right? Verifying their profile and the ability to send messages and also the user identifier, right? So this is like one of the things to note. Other than that, Wallet connects will only come in place for Leaf version when you are trying to make the user to pay for certain stuff, whether using Kaia or USDT on Kaia, right? The next part is the web version. So the web version, this is a screenshot of how it works. It has the connection guide, which is this connection homepage, and it basically uses social login providers. You can connect your Google account. You can connect your Apple ID. You can also connect quite a number of like other social login providers. Other than that, you can also use external wallets like Kaia Wallet, OKX Wallet, and also BitGet. Then once you are done connecting, you can load the Mini-Dapp, and interact with the Mini-Dapp. And also at the end of the day, in the case where you have a Mini-Dapp store, your users can buy in-game assets with cryptocurrency or like with fiat. So that's that about that. Now, what are the two major SDKs that we have seen so far? The first is Mini-Dapp SDK, right? So this is one of the major SDK that you need when building your Mini-Dapp online powered by Kaia. And so what is a Mini-Dapp SDK? It's basically a development toolkit that allows your web-based application or Dapp to be transformed fully into a functional Mini-Dapp within line, right? So with the Mini-Dapp SDK, you have access to methods such as connect and sign a message. You can send transaction that writes to the blockchain. You can also get Kaia balance, get the ERC20 token balance. You can create a payment channel, get payment details, and so on and so forth, right? Other than that, also, we have the Leaf SDK. So the Leaf SDK comes into play when you're trying to convert your web version into a Leaf version, right? All you have to do is to initialize your web version to have the Leaf SDK embedded. Now with Leaf SDK, you can connect your Mini-Dapp to access information provided by Line platform as a whole, right? So as such, you have access to utilities such as the app version, OS type, QR code reader, share target picker, and also various screen sizes. So with share target picker, you can basically share the Mini-Dapp to your various line friends, right? And at the end of the day, it sort of like increases user acquisition and retention, right? So these are like the two major SDKs that you need when building a Mini-Dapp. The Mini-Dapp SDK and also the Leaf SDK. All right, so having said that, it's time to now show a demo of an example of how to use your Mini-Dapp SDK. Now, for this session, we'll be building a web version so we can see how it works and then make it Leaf ready. When I say Leaf ready, meaning it can work also online, right? When converted into a Leaf app in this case, right? Because we are plugging in also Leaf SDK. I hope that makes sense. So let's get right into it. So for this demo, we are going to be looking at a simple application, right? So for the sake of those that are following along, so this is the repo Mini-Dapp SDK example. And what this Mini-Dapp example is doing is that it's first an SGS application that demonstrates how to use the Mini-Dapp SDK, in this case, the Dapp Portal SDK, first for wallet connection. Once we are done with the wallet connection, we are also going to be minting an NFT. So in this case, the NFT is a dynamic NFT that can be upgraded using TUSDT investment. Now, TUSDT investment is a mock or a test USDT for the sake of this session or for the sake of this demo. And what that means is with your dynamic NFT, once you mint your NFT, the user can now upgrade the NFT to various stages from a caterpillar to a chrysalis to butterfly and to a monarch, right? So those are the 4 stages. And so for each stage, there's a certain amount of TUSDT that you need to pay, right? I hope that sounds fun to you guys. right? So that's what we'll be building for this simple Mini-Dapp example. Other than that, like I mentioned, it's a 4-stage evolution dynamic NFT from Caterpillar to Chrysalis to Butterfly to Monarch. And then it's also leaf ready, meaning that it has Leaf SDK initialized in it. So what are the prerequisites? The prerequisites is that you need to have Node.js 18 and above, NPM or Yarn installed, and also you should be able to get your Dapp Portal SDK credentials. So some few days ago, we made an announcement on how to go about it, especially for those building for this hackathon, right? And so if you want to take a look at the message, I'll just share over here. So there is a tweet on the Build on Kaia X page. If you have not gotten your credentials, please find time to head over to developers.dapportal.io and click on apply. Then in the question 7, you can use this text for your application. So because you will need this in our build for the sake of those that will be following along right now. Having said that, you also need test Kaia because we'll be building on Kaia Kairos testnet. So you can head over to fileset.kaia.io to get your test file set. Also, TUSDT will be needed to be able to pay for our NFT upgrade in this case. For the sake of this demo, I basically just deployed a custom ERC20 token with a name TUSDT and decimal and 6 decimal token, right? Also, you need your line leaf ID to make it leaf ready. The way to get your leaf ID is to go to docs.dapportal.io. There is a documentation on how to go about that. You basically have to go to line developer console and just follow this guide on how to get that. So I'll just head right back into our demo, right? So having said that, this is what our demo does, or like the simple Mini-Dapp NFT in this case, or example in this case. But before then, I would like to also explain the smart contract that we are using for this demo. Now, we have 2 smart contracts. Like I mentioned, the TUSDT, which is a custom ERC20 token, and it's ownable and it's burnable. We also have the decimal to be 6 places. Then we have a function to mint and can only be called by the only owner. Now we are going to deploy this, right? And to do that, we are going to use the Kaia plugin, and we're going to use Kaia wallet. All right, you're going to use Kaia wallet. So if you don't have Kaia plugin, you can just go to the plugin manager and type Kaia, then just toggle it on, right? Once you are done with that, you also want to go to the environment and switch environment, right? So let me just reload this page. Give it a little bit of time for this to come up, and we can just proceed with our demo, right? So first thing first, for the TUSDT contract, we head over back to Kaia plugin and change the environment to injected provider, and make sure to connect or confirm on the pop-up, right? So once this is done, you basically just deploy, right, TUSDT, and also yeah, I'm gonna switch this to TUSDT. This is taking 2 arguments, the recipient address and the initial owner. So I'm just going to pass in this one, right, as the recipient and the initial owner. right? And so all you have to do is just click transact to deploy and confirm the transaction in your Kaia wallet. And that's that about that. Other than that, we also have the dynamic NFT.sol, which is a dynamic NFT contract. It takes track, or it keeps track of the evolutions of the butterfly from caterpillar stage to the monarch stage. And for each of the other stages, it keeps track of the amount to be paid. In this case, 5 USDT for chrysalis, 70 USDT for butterfly, and 10 USDT for 10 USDT for monarch, right? So let's take a look at the major functions here. The major functions are the safe mint function, which is a free mint that mints the caterpillar stage, right? And then the upgrade NFT function, which basically once the user calculates the amount to be paid for the upgrade, maybe you're moving from caterpillar to chrysalis, that means you have to pay 5T USDT, right? So the upgrade NFT basically encodes all of the logic from building the SVG to updating the SVG, right? So that's that about this contract. I'm going to also add this to the Mini-Dapp SDK example repository for you to take a look. And so all you have to do is also to deploy this contract, right? And just passing your deployed CUSDT contract here and just click on transact. And you should have your dynamic NFT.sol deployed. And so because I have it deployed already, I'm not going to go over that. Just connect your wallet and do that. And so once you have all of your addresses ready, your TUSDT and also your dynamic NFT.sol, all you have to do is to head over back to the repository, and then the first thing you want to do is to clone your repo, right? Once you clone your repo, then you change directory to the folder, and then install all of your dependencies. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is the local environment variables, right? These are the major important things that you need. The client ID. I already talked about how to get your client ID for the DApp portal. You can head over to Build on Kaia Twitter page to take a look at the recent announcement we made on how to do that. Then also the public chain ID. You can either use Kaia Kairos testnet or Kaia mainnet in this case. Then for the sake of those who want to make it leaf ready, which we'll be doing also in this guide, you also have to add your leaf ID here. I also shared how to take a look at it or how to generate yours. Then this is where you sort of like edit your deployed contract, your contract address for your dynamic NFT, and also your TUSDT contract address. Once you're done with that, then you just run the development server, npm run there. Now, so this is like a simple implementation that takes a look at connect and disconnect wallet. It gets Kaia balance and also ERC20 token balance, then helps you to also interact with smart contracts. Take for instance, in your Mini-Dapp, you have a play functionality, right, for users to claim certain things, right? This basically helps you. And also, if you want to read transaction from the blockchain, you can also add either Kaia SDK to sort of like help read this data using the Kaia RPC endpoint in this case. So having said that, let's jump right into it. So I'll assume that you've been able to like clone the project, right? And I'll just go over the major important parts over here. All right. So now that you've been able to, clone the project, so this is basically just a reference or like a simple implementation that you can use to build your Mini-Dapp. And the first thing you want to do is go to your .env.local and update everything using this env credentials over here. You want to fill in your client ID, your chain ID, and also your leaf ID. and all of your contract addresses, right? Once that is done, now let's take a look at the um, the constants folder. The constants folder, we have the ABI for our dynamic NFT. You can update this. And also we have the contract .ts, which is the contract address for the dynamic NFT, and a mini contract ABI. Also for TUSDT, we have the public TUSDT address from our environment variable and a extracted TUSDT ABI. Now, once that is done, let's talk about the major hooks in this case. Now, there are two major hooks that we are using in this Mini-Dapp example: the use wallet hook and the use balance hook, right? So for the use wallet hook, this basically helps us to initialize our Dapp portal, right? As we can see here, this is the part where we are initializing our Dapp portal. Import the Dapp portal SDK, and then we are able to initialize using our client ID and also our chain ID, right? Once you're done with that, you can either change your chain ID from 1001 to 8217, depending on the network you are building on. So once you are done with initializing your Dapp portal SDK, then we can then move on to explain the various wallet operations, right? And so for the use wallet hook, we have various wallet operations being initialized, right? We have the connect, right? Um, we have the disconnect, right? And so for the connect functionality, we are using the Mini-Dapp SDK method called Kaia request account. And so I'm also going to provide a link to like the different resources that can help you sort of like go through how this thing works and the different methods available in your Mini-Dapp SDK. And so once you have your wallet provider initialized, then you can request, and in your method, you basically request, you pass in this method Kaia request account. And with that, you can set your account because you are trying to connect your wallet, and also set the instance of it's connected. For disconnect also, you basically have disconnect wallet on the wallet provider. Other than that, also you have the get account, which uses the wallet provider the request Kaia account method to give us the current account connected in this case. Then we also have all of these returned, all of these operations returned. This returns the current account connected. This is a boolean if it's connected or not, and this also. Then these are functions that helps us connect to the wallet and also disconnect from the wallet. This gets the current account and the SDK instance. Now, so these are like the major wallet operations that we have in our use wallet hooks, having initialized our Dapp portal SDK. Other than that, we also have the use balance hook, right, which helps us fetch the balance, the Kaia balance, and also the get ERC20 token balance. As you can see, this is using a method on the Mini-Dapp SDK called Kaia get balance, right? We have wallet provider the request and the get balance. Then for the get ERC20 token balance, we directly just called this method get ERC20 token balance on our wallet provider, and we passed in the address of the token, in this case TUSDT, and the account at which we want to check the ERC20 token balance of. Other than that, those are the two major hooks that we have. We also then have various components, the balance display, the mint button, NFT card, upgrade button, the TXS, wallet button, and also the wallet provider in this case. So these are like various components that helps our Mini-Dapp to be displayed. So let's talk about the major part, which is the page.txs, which sort of like hooks up everything and how our function works. So we have different imports here and also various states and various use effects. But let's talk about the major functionalities here, which is first the handle mint. So what we want the user to do when they come to our DApp is that we want them to be able to connect their wallets. After connecting their wallets, we want them to be able to mint an NFT, and then this NFT can be upgraded using TUSDT investments. So for each upgrade that we want, we have to pay a certain amount of TUSDT, right? So for our handle mint, what we're basically doing is on the wallet provider, we are calling the Kaia send transaction, which basically helps us interact with the blockchain. And so what this does is that it sends a request to the contract to execute this encoded data. Now, this encoded data is the encoded function data for a safe mint function on your contract, right? And so this is the function, and there are no arguments to be passed, right? So once that is done, it basically just populates all of the states that needs to be populated, and we are good to go, right? The other important function is the handle upgrade. Now, with the handle upgrade, once a user has been able to mint their NFT, now they want to also upgrade their NFT, right? And so how that works is that we sort of like we get the NFT info that provides us the amount that needs to be paid for the upgrade, right? And so once we're able to know the amount that needs to be paid for the upgrade, then we then check if we have the necessary allowance here. So it checks if the current allowance is less than next upgrade. If it's less than, then you have to call the approve function. It's also using the Kaia send transaction in this case, and we approve our dynamic NFT contract to spend our TUSDT on our behalf, right? Once that is done, also we also want to now, execute the upgrade functionality or upgrade function in this case. Now, this is the encoded data, the upgrade NFT, and the argument, the upgrade token ID. Now we just send it directly to the smart contract and it executes, and then all of our states is being populated. Now, other things here basically just shows our UI and how they are just connected all together dynamically. So it is important to note that this is just like some part of like the SDK functionalities that you can add. We also have the payment provider, which you can add. So you can take a look at the documentation on how to add your payment provider in your payment provider in your Mini-Dapp application. Now, with payment provider, you can implement the functionality for users to pay for in-game assets and all of that using crypto or fiat, right? So users don't even have to leave their whether we don't have to leave line to be able to buy cryptocurrency to pay for in-game assets. And so you can take a look at the documentation on how to implement that also. So without further ado, let's just run our demo code on the development. And so once that is done, it's important to note that the Mini-Dapp SDK client ID that we got will only be functional or will only be allowed on local 3000 ports. And so it's important to always use local 3000 ports, especially when testing with the Mini-Dapp SDK client ID. So what we want to do now is to load our app, right? And see how it works in practice. So this might take a little bit of time. And so we're just going to wait for this to load and we are good to go.
Actually, Ao, how long roughly is this going to take? Do you know, like a few minutes or?
Yes, I don't know why it's taking so much time. But let me just check
It's okay.
also.
While we're waiting, why don't we answer a couple questions, maybe? Because if it's going to take a bit of time, is it loading yet, or shall we answer some questions? Or
Yeah, we can just answer some questions and just proceed.
yeah, I think we do have one question here. For payments, can a Mini-Dapp trigger USDT on Kaia transactions directly from the web view, and how do you handle gas fee, delegation, or user paid?
Oh yes, that's actually possible with like the provider, right? You can, so the way it works is you can calculate, how much the Kaia needs to, how much Kaia users needs to pay, and how much the equivalent in USDT within like your application. So that will require like some extra effort, right, in calculating how much Kaia does a user the equivalent in like USDT. But other than that, there's for um, gas fee delegation. So you need to also add Kaia SDK. So that's also possible with the Mini-Dapp SDK, but you need to add a layer of Kaia SDK. You need to install Kaia SDK to be able to tap into the gas fee delegation functionality. So yeah, that's actually possible. So after this demo, I'm going to also be sharing like the documentation for you to take a look at some of like the methods available and how this works in practice, right? I hope that answers the question. So let me just disconnect my
Okay.
wallet.
Yeah,
Right?
let me just remove this. And is it ready now?
Mm, mm, mm.
Okay, I'll just leave you to it then.
Okay, so now that we have our page ready, right? I don't know why it took a lot of time, but yeah. So the first thing we want to do is we want to connect our wallet. And so what that means is once you click on connect wallet, you get a list of various providers that you can connect your wallet to, whether social login providers or to like external wallets. Now, in this case, if you are building directly a Leaf version, right, you want to use connect with line, right? Because with that, you can easily like connect to line and line have access to their line details directly. But in case if you are building a web version just like we are doing, you can either use connect with Kaia Wallet or connect with Google. So this is the good part about Mini-Dapps, why they don't have to leave their already familiar social network sites, right? Like I said from the onset, you can just within the same application get started and just play, experience the feel of Mini-Dapps, and also get them onboarded, right, as soon as possible, especially for normies and also for Web2 users, right? And so for this, we're going to be using Connect with Google, right? So I'm going to be using a new account actually, which doesn't have any USDT or any. All right. So as you can see, it's saying, okay, this pops up my Gmail, which I connected before. So in any case, if you are using like a new account, you can you'll be prompted to provide a password which will be used to like sign transactions. So you want to keep this password known to yourself. Really, really important, right? So once our account is connected, now we can see the Kaia balance and the TUSDT balance. So this is provided by the Mini-Dapp SDK, the get Kaia balance functionality method, and also the get ERC20 token balance functionality. Now, the next thing you want to do is to mint your NFT, right? And so because we are using social login, right? This will pop up still within your DApp, right? And you get to sign the transaction. As you can see the estimated fee and the data, right? And you just get to approve. Like I mentioned, this is going to request for your passcode, and this is only meant to be known to you. And so I just put like a test passcode here because this is for testing, right? So we wait for this to, and it says NFT minted successfully, transaction hash, yada yada yada. And we can just copy this and view on Kairos testnet. Yeah, the Kaia scan. And so now we have our NFT. So let's view this on Kairos testnet. Okay, so we have token ID 7. So this is the current NFT that we have, token ID 7, and this is the token URI. Now let's go back to sort of like upgrade our NFT. All right. So what we have to do is to put in the token ID in this case, which is 7, and we just click in upgrade NFT, and we have to also sort of like approve the transaction, right? And once that is done, we have to go back to Kaia scan to sort of like refresh the token URI for it to sort of like show our dynamic NFT in this case. All right, so this is the first part. I mentioned that you have to first approve, if there are no approvals, right, you have to first approve the smart contract to spend your TUSDT on your behalf. And so once that is done, you get to now see the confirmation for the upgrade NFT. So this is the step we are currently doing, right? As you can see, everything is within your DApp, right? Everything is within your DApp, and this is how it's also going to be in your online, right? So now we have our NFT updated to Chrysalis, and so if we get to refresh over here, right, from Caterpillar, we can just refresh token URI. As you can see, it says token URI has been refreshed, and so our so we can keep doing this, upgrading our NFT to the next levels, right? To like there are 4 levels, and so we can keep upgrading our NFTs to the next level and so on and so forth. And the same process applies. And so so we have come to the end of our demo actually, and yeah, if you want to learn more about integrating Mini-Dapp SDK into your either web version or your Leaf, all you have to do is head over to docs.dappportal.io, which is this link over here. You can see quite a number of like explanations and also the methods that are available, whether for the payment provider or whether for the wallet provider, right? Other than that, also, if you are looking to build a game, right, like from like a game engine, you can also head over to Kaia Docs. We have like a Mini-Dapp session for you to go over this, either using Unity or using Cocos Creator. And so I think that that's all from my end. And also make sure to apply for like the client ID. You can go over to developers.dappportal.io and just click on apply, and you should be good to go. So yeah, thank you very much for listening. I hope that by now you've been able to go from 0 to 1, understanding what mini dapps are first, and also the different environments for building mini dapps, the Leaf version and also the web version, and the various SDKs needed, Mini-Dapp SDK and also Leaf SDK, how to integrate them into your web application, and how to apply for each of the clients ID or the respective IDs for each of the SDK. So I think that'll be all. Thank you for listening. If you don't have any question, don't hesitate to ask them or drop them on our Discord channel also. Thank you very much. Over to you, Sean.
Hey, yeah, I think because we technically already answered a question before, we should just answer like maybe 1-2 more questions here. So there's a follow-up question. Basically, I think if you remember the one on the USDT, is there an example flow for signings plus submitting transactions inside the Mini-Dapp context?
Oh yes. So there is so this example basically just shows that it signs the transaction and it also submits the transaction, right? But other than that, there's also like a method called connect and sign, right? You can take a look at that. It basically connects, it pops your wallet providers or like your social login providers. And then once you're connected, you can then sign the message to connect to your Mini-Dapp in this case. And so those two things are available. As a matter of fact, the example that we showed is like yeah, it's the reference like to some of the Mini-Dapp methods or Mini-Dapp SDK methods available, and you can just tinker around, play around, and see what's possible.
Okay, hopefully that answers your question. I think we have one more question. How does auth/session work in a Mini-Dapp? Do we bind line identity to a wallet address, and what's the recommended way to persist that mapping?
Oh yeah, so because this uses under the hood, it uses like Web3 auth, right, for its application, right? In this case, you don't need to worry about all of that. In once you are trying to connect to the application, whether any social login, right, whether it be Google or whether it be in this case Line, right? Once you are done connecting, this SDK manages that for you because it uses under the hood, what Web3 auth has done, right? So yeah, it's an additional layer, sort of like for people building on line or on the web version. So yeah, if you are building online, you want to connect via line. If you are building on web, you want to connect via either any other social login, whether Google or any other external wallet. So this is like the way to go about it, right?
Okay, yeah, hopefully that answers your questions, Asuks. We do have one final question. I think it's just for fun. Someone was basically asking what browser you were using. I think Asuks answered it was Brave. Can I just confirm that was Brave?
Yes, Brave.
Okay, yeah. So, yeah, confirm. Milo, Milo. I'm not sure how to pronounce your username. AO is using Brave browser. I think you can actually shift the top tabs to the side to make it look a little bit like Arc browser. So yeah. So I think for AO section we can end it here. If you have any further questions for AO, please do put them in chat, or you can push them onto Discord. And then we'll answer all your questions there. AO, I think, is the most active on Discord as well. So before you go off, AO, I know you'll stick around for a little bit, but do you have any parting words for the hackathon participants in chat or whatever?
Oh yeah, I mean, this is the best place to build like your application, right? You have like the tech support, you have the technology ready, the distribution is there, and so whatever use case that you're trying to build, whether it be DeFi, Def AI, or gaming, right? You have the best team to help you go to product market fit and also to go live in this case. So this is like one of a kind opportunity. So maximize it, right? Maximizing. Like Sean mentioned, you can always reach out to us on Discord, and we're always there to answer some of your questions. So yeah, can't wait to see some of the projects go live and have over like 1 million TVL looked up. So yeah, rooting for everyone.
Yeah, hopefully we see a bunch of projects coming from the hackathon as well. Okay, so I'm going to swap you over to Banana B, who is our senior blockchain engineer. He's not quite DevRel engineer. He's more like he is an ecosystem engineer, essentially, not really DevRel, but we're all the same team, all from Kaia, essentially. So Banana B is a pseudonym, so just keep in mind that he would like to keep his identity a bit private, but that's fine. So yeah, I'm just gonna switch over and we will just carry on. Okay. Cool. Are you there?
All right. Can you guys hear me well?
Yes, we can. Okay, I'll still be around, so chill. Yeah. So any questions, please put them in the chat, and then Banana Bee will be here to answer them. So yeah, please carry on.
Thanks, Sean. Okay, so what we built here today is the Kaia OFT factory. And before I go into the OFT factory, maybe I'll just paint you a picture, right? So Ayo just covered a lot about mini apps, Mini-Dapp SDK, how to build your own Mini-Dapp, integrate the SDK into it. Now, just let me paint you a picture, right? You have built your Mini-Dapp. It's 2-3 months from now into the future. You have built your Mini-Dapp. You have launched it. It's successful. And what is next, right? For most Mini-Dapps, we all know what we are looking forward towards, right? The token generation event. Every Mini-Dapp is looking forward to the token generation event. We launch our own token. We airdrop it to our loyal player base. We keep some for ourselves for the ecosystem and all that kind of thing, right? And but what is the problem, right? So developers like you guys, you are really focused on building your Mini-Dapps, you're improving the game, you are coming out with different patches, right? Like constantly shipping updates. Do you really think that you have the time to focus on the token generation event, launching your own coin, creating bridges here and there? Because from what I know, some Mini-Dapps may not have launched on Kaia, right? And maybe that was a mistake that they made, maybe it's intentional, but then they suddenly realize, hey, there's this whole untapped market on Kaia, and we want to get like our token onto Kaia chain. And that's where the OFT factory comes in. Okay. So the OFT builder, right, simplifying token bridging and to deploy an OFT without code in under 5 minutes. It sounds really complicated, but just bear with me. I'll explain to you what OFTs are, what we're building it for, and the whole reason why we're building this, right? So I explained the problem already, right? These third party, you guys who have already built your successful Mini-Dapps, you have launched a token, and maybe it's on Binance, but now you want it to be on Kaia, and you don't have the resource. Maybe you're a single developer, solo indie developer, you have a team, but nobody has really the Web3 knowledge to launch a bridge, and you need your token on Kaia to unlock this like liquidity and player base that you have on Kaia in the Mini-Dapps, right? And you want to be able to bridge your tokens from another EVM chain to Kaia chain. And most third-party apps, they do it via Stargate, right? Stargate is one of the most popular bridges there is, right? But the problem is Stargate, they require deployment of OFTs, omni-chain fungible tokens for your token listing, right? You look at Stargate's picture right here, right? It's ETH to Kaia. No, Stargate isn't like gonna list your third-party Mini-Dapp token like just willy-nilly, right? You gotta do some work for them, and they already made it easy for you. So the first thing that Stargate requires you to do is to deploy an OFT by layer 0, right? And then you'll be eligible for the token listing. So deploying these OFTs, right? I mentioned you're an indie developer. You maybe don't have so much time to invest into learning how to deploy your own bridge, your own token. So you deploy an OFT. But OFT yourself, it's really complicated and it's very technical. It requires like programming, understanding of layer 0 protocol, setting up your DBNs and all that kind of thing. Like all this doesn't make sense to you right now. It didn't make sense to me as well, like 2 months ago. And it was really hard to pick up all these things, right? And you want to be constantly shipping out new game updates, new game patches. You can't just like waste time in dealing with all this, right? So what our OFT deploy aims to do is to simplify the process of deploying an OFT and to just get your token onto Kaia chain. So the OFT deployer, now shoot me a W in the chat, right? If this thing scares you right now, right? You look at this like big script here, you just get scared, right? You don't know what to do. And then after you're done with that, now you have to look at the layer 0 docs. How am I going to deploy this OFT? Oh, there's so many different configurations, command line terminals that I have to do. Man, it's going to cost you like 2-3 weeks of just understanding and deploying your own OFTs. So what if we had something that looks like this, right? An OFT deployment wizard that takes everything you just saw and put it into a very nice UI, a very simple, easy to understand, step-by-step process on how to deploy OFT. Right, it's here. We made it. Right, step 1, do you have a deployed token? Maybe you already deployed a token on another EVM chain, yes, right? And then you choose where your token is deployed, right? And then we help you deploy an OFT on Kaia. Okay, so let's jump right into the demo. Maybe some of you are a bit like skeptical, don't really know what's going on. Let's play the demo, right? So first of all, we connect our wallet, right, to how to deploy OFT. We select yes, we have already deployed a token on Ethereum. So there's BNB, there's Ethereum. We choose Ethereum right now. This is a token that I've already deployed, acting as my, you know, my TGE token. We paste the token address. It queries the token name for you, and just click deploy, confirm, and there we go. We're deploying the OFT adapter on Ethereum, which is the chain that you deploy your TGE token on. So let's just wait for the confirmation. Right, Ethereum takes a little bit of time. Okay. And done. Right, we move to the next step. Token name, token symbol, it's all done for you. Let's check out the OFT adapter that we just deployed. Okay. And now we switch to Kaia chain. In this test, I'm using Kairos testnet, right? And then we deploy our OFT on Kaia chain. There we go. So what's next, right, in this OFT deployment? Now we have deployed an OFT adapter on Ethereum. Now we're deploying OFT on Kaia. Now we have to link these two OFTs so that they can talk to each other and sort of approve each other's bridging back and forth, right, from Ethereum to Kaia and Kaia to Ethereum. So we're doing it for Ethereum. Now we're doing it for Kaia. So just to let them know that to trust each other's address. Right, so we're setting our peers, and there we go. So the next one is to set enforcement options, right? We're going to set it on Ethereum, and then we're going to set it on Kaia as well. What this is something that Stargate requires for your listing on Stargate, right? So we're just like, can you imagine trying to figure this out all in the docs, right? It's just a nightmare. So we got it all down for you. Everything is pre-filled from your transactions, and we'll just like run you through. All you have to do is click the button, and there we go, right? Your OFT deployment is complete. You're now ready to list your token on Stargate. You can click here, and Stargate actually has a guide on how you can list your tokens. And now let's test it out, right? We actually just deploy a bridge between Ethereum and Stargate for your custom TGE token. So let's try to bridge it and see whether it really works, right? So first we gotta approve the token allowance, right? We gotta approve your token to be spent on the OFT adapter. So right now we are approving. You can see that everything is pre-filled on the top there. There we go, approved, and that's the current allowance. And now let's actually try to bridge some tokens from Ethereum to Kaia, right? So this is my TGE token Dino. I have 1 million of it. Let's bridge 5, right? We're bridging 5 to Kaia, confirm. And what it does is it actually transfers your token into the OFT adapter. It locks it up, and then it mints your TGE token on Kaia chain as the OFT, right? A lot of the technology is done by layer 0 and is facilitated by layer 0. The contracts are all done by layer 0, so we don't make any changes to the contract. Layer 0 has spent a lot of money auditing their contracts in terms of security. So we do not change any of that. Everything is backed by layer 0 technology. So let's check out the layer 0 transaction and how it actually works. Okay. Let's add our OFT to our wallet just to check how much we have, right? Right now, let's import the token. So select Kairos, and there we go, the token symbol. We have 0 of them. So we import. So it's currently bridging right now. Okay. And there we go. We have 5, right? I think layer 0 is lagging a little bit. Let's refresh the page and see. There we go. So we can see that the DBN, the committer, the executor has all been successful. And we have 5 Dino tokens on Kaia chain, right? Now let's bridge it back to Ethereum, right? We got to make sure it works both ways. We can't just bridge everything to Kaia and then can't go back. So we just put an amount in, we confirm, and this time we don't have to do an approval because it is the OFT directly, right? We're not interacting with an adapter. There we go. 10 seconds ago, we sort of bridged to bridge back to Ethereum for your TGA tokens, and what it does is it burns the OFT that has been minted on Kaia and unlocks your token from the OFT adapter and sends it back to the wallet address that you intended to, right? Okay, so Ethereum is taking a little bit of time. And there we go. See, 99998, right? Let's refresh. 28 seconds ago, we received back 3 of our TG Dino tokens. Right, so you just deploy a bridge in under 5 minutes. You enable your tokens to be bridged natively from Ethereum to Kaia and back, like within 5 minutes, right? You don't have to think about, okay, what I'm going to do, how am I going to deploy a bridge? How do I have my tokens on Kaia chain? It's all done. So the next thing we got to do is just to list our tokens with Stargate, and everything has already been done for you, like setting all these options, deploying all these OFTs. Now we just got to get in touch with Stargate with that link. And yeah, after that, you can just head to Stargate and just start to bridge your tokens. Like anyone can start to bridge your tokens. You don't have to go to this OFT deploy website anymore. You can just head on to like Stargate, and you can find your token once they have listed your token. Right. So what are the pain points that we solved, right? No coding required to deploy your OFT. You deploy your OFT, you set up a bridge in under 5 minutes. You didn't even touch a single line of code. All you did was just press some buttons, approve, and it's done. Right? It's a step-by-step guided process that automates the layer 0 OFT deployment. Right? You don't even understand what layer 0 is about, and I think that's a win, right? You don't waste time trying to do this, digging into layer 0 technology, right? Reduces time to market for bridging your tokens to the Kaia chain, like to and from Kaia chain. You did it in under 5 minutes. And right, as I said, we use layer 0 smart contracts under the hood. So we don't edit any of the contracts. It has all been audited. It's safe by layer 0, and there's no risk, right? Because when you're touching code, there's always a risk. You're going to change something, you're going to do something weird, you're going to mistype something. So this is all standard and all done for you in a UI, and frees up your time, right? You can just focus on pushing out the newest patch, the newest game update for your players to enjoy and continuously to play a game, right? So the goal, as I said in the beginning, was to enable third parties like you to focus on building their core app, not the bridging infrastructure, right? And this is what we do to sort of close the loop, right? You have used the Mini-Dapp SDK to sort of launch your game. You developed your game. You did a token generation event, and now how do you get your tokens on the Kaia? You use your OFT deployer. So you can find the OFT deployer here on the toolkit.kaia.io/OFT deployer. It's currently only working for Binance, and if we do see more, requests, maybe your tokens are deployed on Ethereum and you wish to bridge your tokens to Kaia and launch an OFT deployer there, we can add different chains. We can add different chains for it. So right now we have only integrated with Binance, like the Binance Smart Chain. If your token's on Binance Smart Chain, feel free to start using it already. If your token is on Ethereum, just let us know. We can easily add that in. And any other EVM chain, actually, it just works off the box like that, right? As long as we see demand, we'll add it for you. And that's about it, right? You've just deployed an OFT in under 5 minutes, build a bridge, and I'll take any questions that come right now.
Yeah. So I think I'll remove the slides for now. And let me know if you want me to add it back. So we do have a couple questions in chat. I think this is the first one. For ERC20 to OFT, how do you validate metadata, decimals, or supply and ensure consistent configs across chains during deploy?
That's a very good question, Asuks, and you have been very active in asking questions. I love it, right? So token metadata is just grabbed from your token metadata on the original chain, right? The chain that you deployed it on. The decimals, supply isn't actually an issue here, because what we do is for every token that is locked up on the OFT adapter, we mint a token onto Kaia chain, right? And that's how the OFT technology works, right? There's no actual like fixed supply on Kaia chain. For every locked up token in the OFT deploy on the OFT adapter on your remote chain, a new token will be minted on Kaia chain, right? And when you actually put it back into the remote chain, you unlock it on your OFT adapter on your remote chain, the token on Kaia will be burned. So there's no concept of supply on your OFT in Kaia chain. For decimals, I hope I answered your question. We grab it from the token metadata.
Okay, I'm not sure because as I mentioned, I think previously with Aided, there is a slight like 5-second delay, so you might have to wait a bit. But they do have a follow-up question, I think.
Sure.
Yeah. Is there a verification step or on-chain registry we can check post-deploy?
Of course, of course. So everything is done on chain. It's through your wallet address that you connected with us. There is a pop-up at the top. Whenever we do a transaction, you can click the transaction hash there. If not, you can just go to Etherscan if you are on Ethereum, BSC scan, and even Kaia scan, right? You can just check your wallet address. I'm sure all the transactions are there.
Okay. I think this is the second to last question we can answer for today. The last question is kind of a bit of a fun gripe. So this is the final proper question. I think, how do you handle upgrades or reconfiguration, adding a new chain, changing endpoints without breaking existing liquidity routes?
That's also another very good question, right? Adding a new chain is pretty complicated at this point of time. We have to make some changes to OFT deployer for you to go like multi chain, like tri-chain or even quadratic chain. Right now, it's a single lane, right? But it's definitely very doable. If we see a need for it, we definitely will upgrade our OFT deployer, and we can talk from like Kaia chain to Ethereum, Ethereum to Binance, Binance to back to Kaia, and so on, right? Like this triangle, it can be quadratic, it can be many different things. Changing endpoints, I don't think we really need this, right? We have already gotten the best like DVNs. DVNs stand for decentralized verified networks that are provided by third parties that are decentralized. So we've gotten one that Stargate provides, and is very reliable. I don't think we need to change that anytime soon, unless Stargate doesn't maintain it anymore. Then we will change it on OFT deployer just to make sure it still works. So yeah, hope that answers your question.
Okay, this is the last question, I think, from us, because I think they were just trying to be a bit like funny. Are you the one behind the OFT deployer demo YouTube video?
Yes, I am. I was a bit shy to record my voice. I was thinking of doing some subtitles AI or something like that, but we have to move on to the next thing that we're going to develop, and we are developing a lot of things here at Kaia. We move fast, we break things, and if there is a high demand for this OFT deploy, we'll definitely redirect our efforts back into it. Else, we're building the next thing that the community needs. Yeah.
Okay, great. I think that's all the questions we have for today. Do you have any like lasting final words before we end off the workshop, today's workshop, to the participants?
I think it's really exciting to be participating in this hackathon for you guys. I think building and developing is how I also got into Web3, into programming in general. Just build things that you really enjoy. Hackathons are a great way to get started because you get so much support from the protocols, and I mean today like Kaia Chain. Yeah, I mean just go for it. Even sometimes you know your projects may not like win, they may not get the best traction. Don't be discouraged, right? Like every project is a learning experience, a learning opportunity, and with each project you just get better and better at developing, get better at finding the right market fit, and just keep going. It's never easy, but you'll get there someday.
Okay, yeah. Thanks for the final words, Ben and Abby. Hopefully we see more of them in the future. I think. I'm not sure. We'll see if they're free or not. To host more potential workshops, not just for the Stablecoin Summer Hackathon, but other stuff for us in the future. Maybe they will even use their voice for voiceovers as well. Anyways, yeah. So I think for today's workshop, it's been about 2 hours since we've started, so long enough. So before we end off, I'd like to thank all the participants who have been participating in chat. I think it's been quite active today, asking about intern being fired or not, and getting scolded and stuff. So yeah, so I think we can just end it off here. Do we have Before we end off? Do you have any other questions for Ao? Because he's still in the background here. So if there's no other questions, maybe give it like another minute or so, or a few more seconds because there's a delay. If there's nothing else, then yeah. So I guess the only thing I have to say is follow us on X, as well as our YouTube channel down below has the backlog of all the live workshops that we've done so far. So if you want to go back, it's also hosted on X, but I think YouTube is just a better place to scroll and to just go through the UI. It's a lot better for video tutorials as well. So our YouTube channel is just down below there. Or there, I don't know which side it is, because my video is currently flipped. So it's at Kaia Chain on YouTube, at Bill on Kaia on X, as well as at Kaia Chain on the main Twitter account is at Kaia Chain. Lastly, if anybody wants to reach out to you, Banana Bee, for any questions, where's the best place to reach out to you? I think they might have gone offline. Anyways, so yeah, I think without further ado, I think we can end it off here. I'd like to thank everyone for coming. I'd like to thank Aiden, Ao, as well as Banana Bee for hosting these workshops. It's never an easy thing to come online and to showcase what you've been working on, and just to do a demo as well. It's never an easy thing for a lot of people. So I'd like to thank our presenters for presenting, as well as all the workshop, as well as all the participants for attending and commenting all in chat. I think it's been quite active today. So yeah, I think we can just end it here. Take care, everyone, and I will see you all tomorrow because we have another workshop, same time at 9 p.m. KST. Hopefully it won't be as long as today. I think it's the second Certec workshop we're hosting. So I'll see everyone tomorrow. I think we'll see more of Banana Bee and Ao and Aiden in the near future. You can reach out to us on Discord, discord.gg/KaiaChain. We'll answer all your questions on the channel, hashtag the hash channel Kaia Wave Stablecoin Summer Hackathon questions. There is a channel dedicated to that. So there's a lot of announcements everywhere. I think you can find it. So yeah, take care, everyone, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Okay, bye.